President Marcos wants the government and stakeholders to prioritize the semiconductor industry. President Marcos wants the government and other stakeholders to prioritize the development of the semiconductor and electronics industry, recognizing the amount of money the country earns from it. Marcos said this during his meeting with the Private Sector Advisory Council Education and Jobs Sector Group in Malacanang on Tuesday, January 21st. In his remarks during the meeting, the president recognized the industry's economic benefits to the country. He said, "We really need to push on the semiconductor industry. It's because, again, it's not something that we had in mind, but the situation, considering how much money we make as the income we get from exports already." The National Bureau of Investigation to file charges against the suspects behind the 2020 Barayuga slay. The National Bureau of Investigation told the House of Representatives that it will file next month criminal charges against the personalities behind the killing of retired police general and Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office Board Secretary Wesley Barayuga. During the House Quad Committee Tuesday, January 21st, NBI Deputy Director Ferdinand Leven said that the agency was already wrapping up and concluding its investigation into the July 2020 assassination of Barayuga. And in about 3 weeks' time, we shall be filing our cases against those involved. Lavin told the Quadcom, which had been looking into the illegal drugs issue and cases of extrajudicial killings in the country during the previous Duterte administration. Guidelines covering OFW deployment to Kuwait under review, according to the Department of Migrant Workers. The Department of Migrant Workers has started reviewing the guidelines of deployment of workers in Kuwait due to cases of deaths of overseas Filipino workers, including Jenny Alvarado and Daphne Nakalaban. DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak said the review will lead to implementation of safety measures to further ensure strengthened protection for OFWs in Kuwait. Kakdak said, "The DMW is currently reviewing its deployment policies to take necessary actions, whether to restrict or take more stringent measures in ensuring the safety and welfare of OFWs, particularly the domestic workers." According to Kakdak, the review also covers those who are already working in Kuwait. A solon asked the Supreme Court to designate special courts to hear extrajudicial killing cases in Duterte's drug war. A lawmaker has urged the Supreme Court to designate special courts to hear cases of extrajudicial killings during the administration of former President Rodrigo Duterte, as well as conduct a trial on him and his supposed co-conspirators. Manila 2nd District Representative Rolando Valeriano, chairman of the House Committee on Metro Manila Development, made the call on Tuesday, January 21st, as the House Quad Committee resumed its investigation into Duterte's war on drugs. He said, "I suggest to the SC the designation of special courts on Tokhang extrajudicial killings that will conduct the trials of former President Rodrigo Duterte, his co-conspirators, and their legion of minions who served as accomplices and accessories." Calling the country disaster-prone, Yamsuan makes the case for mandatory environmental insurance coverage for local projects. A neophyte solon in the 19th Congress is prodding his House colleagues to swiftly pass legislation that aims to mandate owners and operators of environmentally critical projects to secure the appropriate insurance coverage. Ako Bicol Party List Representative Brian Raymond Yamsuan says doing so would guarantee sufficient compensation for the possible adverse impact of their operations on affected communities. Penned by Yamsuan, House Bill No. 1937 provides for the mandatory environmental insurance coverage that institutions and corporations should obtain before they are allowed to start construction or commercial operations of their projects. He said in justifying his bill, "Our country is the most disaster-prone in Southeast Asia, but we cannot ignore the fact that the calamities we are experiencing now are also due to man-made activities that damage the environment." The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board to hold public hearings first before deciding on the jeepney fare hike petition. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board will conduct a series of public hearings and consultations before deciding on the petition of transport groups to increase the jeepney minimum fare to 15 pesos. While the LTFRB said it understands the arguments and concerns raised by the transport groups, its chairman Teofilo Guadiz III said there are protocols that must be followed for a decision that will impact on the people and the economy. And the reason why public hearings and consultations must be done, according to Guadiz, is to ensure transparency and inclusivity in the decision-making process. Guadiz said, "The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board acknowledges the petition of various transport groups for a 15 peso minimum fare for public utility jeepneys. We understand the challenges faced by our drivers and operators due to rising fuel prices and the increasing cost of living. At least 76 people have been killed in a hotel fire at a ski resort in Turkey." Officials said, a fire raged through a 12-story hotel at a popular ski resort in northwestern Turkey early Tuesday during a school holiday, killing at least 76 people, at least 2 of them when they jumped from the building to escape the flames. At least 51 people also were injured in the fire at the Grand Kartal Hotel in Kartalkaya, in Bolu Province's Koroglu Mountains, some 300 kilometers east of Istanbul, said Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya. The fire occurred near the start of a 2-week winter break for schools, when hotels in the region are packed. Yerlikaya said 45 of the 76 people killed have been identified, while efforts to identify the other victims were continuing. Pharrell Williams and 17 collaborate in Bad Influence for Louis Vuitton's Paris runway show. Grammy winner Pharrell Williams and K-pop boy band 17 collaborated for the new single Bad Influence, the soundtrack for Louis Vuitton's Fall-Winter 2025 runway show during the Paris Fashion Week. Ahead of Paris Fashion Week, Williams, serving as men's creative director of Louis Vuitton, wrote and composed Bad Influence for the Louis Vuitton show. 17, selected as the singers for the track, brought it to life with their fresh and unique vocals. Bad Influence was revealed for the first time at the Louis Vuitton Fall-Winter 25 men's collection show on January 21st, leaving an indelible impression on both fashion professionals and enthusiasts on site and beyond. Stay updated with the latest news. Visit our website at www.mb.com.ph or follow us on